Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna have a look at Knight vs Giant, the Broken Excalibur, which I played at WAZD and IGN event recently, and I have to say I was pretty impressed with it. So I want to give a massive thanks to P-Cube, who is the publisher, for a review copy and for their ongoing support in allowing us to carry out reviews for their games. Will this be the game to dethrone Supergiant Classic? Well, stick around to find out. As always, if you like what you see, subscribe because it's free, and now let's get on with the show. Well, the story goes as follows. The King of Camelot and his merry men, the Knights of the Round Table, go on the tried and tested quest of searching for the Holy Grail. Unfortunately, when they do find it, they unleash the devastating Void Giant upon the land. King Arthur bravely leads his knights into battle, but they are quickly defeated by the terrible beast. Not only that, the legendary sword Excalibur is broken, and the only one to clean up the mess, allegedly, is the trusted wizard Merlin, who, with a powerful spell, sends the Void Giant back to the astral dimension. Unfortunately, he overdid it, and he sent the entire kingdom as well. Using one more trick, he resurrected the king himself, and now King Arthur is tasked with cleaning up all the mess, defeat all the Void Giants in order to gain their souls, and restore Camelot. In this fantasy action roguelite, you take on the role of King Arthur. He will traverse through randomly generated dungeons to reach that biome's giant and slay it. Naturally, because it's an action roguelike, it means that you enter multiple rooms which are randomly generated, and you have to defeat all the enemies within in order to progress. These enemies will drop soul orbs, which are the dungeon's currency that can be used in exchange for power-ups and healing items and so forth. Plus, rebuilding Camelot is going to require a lot of dinero, and there's quite a lot to be found here. The combat is pretty straightforward and enjoyable. King Arthur can dodge roll and swing his sword, although I did change the attack within the settings, so I just had to hold down the button instead of having to button mash. It's just more comfortable. Lazy, but comfortable. He will also have a main weapon and a secondary weapon, with the latter requiring a cooldown period to reuse. Although Excalibur can't be fixed with duct tape at this moment in time, you'll be happy to know that your fallen knights can bestow their powers onto it. At the beginning of the game, you'll have access to Lancelot and Bows, and these will allow players to pick and mix the primary and secondary weapons loadout. As you progress through the adventure, King Arthur will have access to more Knights of the Round Table and the specialized arsenal. There are a lot of experimentation to be done here, and the Knight's powers can be leveled up too, meaning that you will feel getting stronger as time goes by. Your loyal Knights also have statues in the wild, and they will grant you one of 3 passive effects or attacks, which are known as blessings. This is similar to games within the genre such as Hades or Cult of the Lamb, where every other room you will get a boon of swords. Searching through every available room on the map is highly encouraged, as you need to bring back some of the vital NPCs that will rebuild Camelot back to its former glory. A good thing about traversal in this game is you can open the map by holding down the right stick, and then you can select what room you want to go back to on the condition that you've been in that room already. This, I cannot stress enough, is a game changer. The amount of times I've played games where you have to backtrack, it's an absolute pain in the ass. So yeah, developers, thank you. Each of these levels is based on a biome and is broken down into 3 floors with multiple rooms and a boss encounter at the end, with the last one being a giant. Although not extremely hard to fight, they can be menacing, hit like a truck, and cover large areas of effect. They do, however, move pretty slowly due to their size, and once the attack pattern has been sussed out, they can be taken down. It's just a question of hit, avoid, repeat. I did enjoy my time playing the game, although the repetitive nature of these kind of games may not be for everyone. having to grind to get stronger is something that goes hand in hand with roguelites, and I feel many will enjoy it once the initial steep difficulty bump is crossed over, because I tell you, the beginning I did find it very grindy. Having said that, no two runs are the same, and you can encounter some interesting characters throughout your playthrough, and thanks to the mix and match of your arsenal, you will find your own way to get in there and just clear rooms very quickly and efficiently without taking virtually any damage. And once you start getting those blessings that go well with the weapons you have equipped, it is extremely satisfying to see how much carnage you can unleash on the waves of enemy. Plus, having that base building mechanic is also a nice break from just having to go into dungeons and just trying to survive. It just gives the game a different pacing, so they go hand in hand. I just wish that earlier on as well there was a means to bypass the first level on your next run, kind of like lift mechanic you unlock in Enter the Gungeon that allows you to do different levels. Again, I know that in roguelites that doesn't happen that much, but it would have been a nice touch. The presentation overall is of a high standard, mainly thanks to the cartoonish visuals and the satirical voice talent. I particularly enjoyed the story intro that pretty much sets the tone for the entire game, and it shows Merlin narrating the events that centers mainly around him, and he portrays himself as the hero of the tale. There's a lot of humor poured into the game that will not land with every time and not with everyone, but at least it bolsters the characters and the world as a whole. Each biome is beautifully represented with its own flora and fauna, and both things are trying to kill you all the time, but they're still beautiful. The enemy designs are decent, and they have a charming paper puppet animation to them, including your own character. Characters will have still portraits on show during conversations, and they are also a treat to look at. The text size, as always, could be slightly bigger, or at least have a means to make it bigger, especially when playing in handheld. Mind you, the game looks stunning on an OLED display. Luckily, there were no crashes during my time playing the game for this review, but a few minor frame drops here and there occurred, and they're worth mentioning, although they did not sully my experience whatsoever. The soundtrack has some whimsical songs composed of harp strings, a cappella and wind instruments. The more hectic scenarios, such as boss battles, will elevate the tension with dramatic songs full of war drums and horns. The game will be available from the eShop for $16.99 or your original equivalent, and requires a mere 962 megabytes to download. Knights vs Giants: The Broken Excalibur is a fun and beautifully presented game that doesn't reinvent the wheel, but covers all the staples of the action roguelike well enough to warrant a playthrough. What sets this one apart from the rest in its genre is the colossal fights that require skill and patience to come out victorious. There are times, particularly when starting your venture, when it requires the player to grind a bit in order to gain essential assets for your base building. If you love this kind of games, then this is worth picking up. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and we at Greening Wolf Games give this an 8 out of 10. If you made it this far, I just want to give you a massive thanks, and also to all those that have been supporting the channel massively by subscribing and watching the videos till the end, or as much as possible, as much as you can tolerate. Thank you very much. As you may be aware, I've joined forces with Alex from Switch Corner. I'm still going to be doing bits and bobs here and there, but I'm going to put all my energy into that, and yeah, I'm really excited. Exciting times. If you're looking for an affordable Pro Controller alternative that looks even better, FUNLAB have you covered. Use the affiliate link in the description with the coupon code GREENIE for 15% off. Hope you enjoyed this episode. As always, if you like what you see, subscribe because it's free. Hit that bell, subscribe, blah 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 blah, all that jargon. Peace.